Don't skip. 5 habits that changed my life in 1 week. These lessons will change your life. Stoic Philosophy. Welcome to Stoic in Your Life. Today, we're diving deep into 5 habits that dramatically changed my life in just 1 week. Yes, you heard that right, 1 week. This might sound too good to be true, but these aren't just any tips you find scattered across the internet. These are real, authentic habits that I personally adopted into my daily routine. Through the ups and downs, breakthroughs, and triumphs, the transformation I experienced was nothing short of extraordinary. I'm excited to share these with you because they had such a significant impact on my life, and I believe they can do the same for you. Whether you're aiming to boost your productivity, enhance your mental health, or simply make a positive change in your daily life, these habits can guide you there. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfortable. Trust me, you'll want to stay until the end because these habits are not just theoretical, they're practical, actionable steps you can start implementing today. Let's get started. Habit 1: Limiting screen time. In a world where our screens are our constant companions, it's easy to lose touch with reality. But what if I told you that by limiting your screen time, you could reclaim your life, improve your mental health, and discover new joys? We live in a digital world, and it's so easy to get sucked into endless hours of scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, or checking emails. But all this screen time was taking a toll on my mental health, my productivity, and even my sleep. So, I decided to set some boundaries and see what happened. First, I set a daily limit of 1 hour for non-work-related screen time. This meant no mindless scrolling through Instagram, no endless YouTube marathons, and no late-night TV binges. It was tough at first. I had become so accustomed to filling every spare moment with screen time. But I knew I needed to make a change. By reducing my screen usage, I discovered how much more time I had in my day. I didn't realize how much of my time was being eaten up by screens until I consciously limited it. With those extra hours, I found myself rediscovering old hobbies and interests that I had neglected. I picked up a book I had been meaning to read, started doodling and drawing again, and even tried my hand at cooking new recipes. These activities not only filled my time but also brought a sense of fulfillment and joy that screens had never provided. One evening, instead of watching TV after dinner, I decided to take a walk in the park. The fresh air, the sounds of nature, and the simple act of moving my body felt incredibly rejuvenating. It was a stark contrast to the usual screen-induced lethargy I felt. That walk became a cherished part of my daily routine, something I looked forward to and enjoyed immensely. As the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By stepping away from screens and immersing myself in nature, my thoughts became clearer and more positive, enhancing my overall well-being. Another significant change was in my sleep quality. I used to take my phone to bed, scrolling through social media or watching videos until I felt sleepy. But this habit often left me feeling wired and restless, leading to poor sleep. By limiting screen time, especially before bed, I found it much easier to wind down and fall asleep. I started a bedtime routine that didn't involve screens, reading a physical book, meditating, or simply reflecting on my day. This change led to deeper, more restful sleep and made a huge difference in my overall energy levels. By craving less screen time, I enriched my sleep and my life. I also noticed improvements in my mental health. Without the constant barrage of news updates, social media comparisons, and digital distractions, I felt less anxious and more present. I was more focused during conversations, more attentive to the people around me, and more engaged in my daily activities. It was like a fog had lifted, allowing me to see and experience life more clearly. As the famous saying goes, "Be where you are, otherwise, you will miss your life." Limiting screen time allowed me to be truly present in my life, enhancing my connections with others and my appreciation for each moment. One particularly memorable day was when I spent an entire afternoon at a local cafe with just a notebook and a pen. I wrote down my thoughts, planned some goals, and even sketched a bit. It was such a peaceful and productive time, free from digital interruptions. I felt more connected to myself and my surroundings in a way that screens had never allowed. This experience reminded me of the Stoic principle that true happiness comes from within, not from external distractions. Of course, there were moments of temptation and slips along the way, but each time I noticed myself reaching for my phone out of habit, I gently reminded myself of the benefits I was experiencing and redirected my focus to something more fulfilling. Limiting screen time is not about completely eliminating technology from your life, it's about creating a healthier balance and being more intentional with your time. If you're feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, I encourage you to try setting some screen time boundaries. Start small, maybe with an hour less each day, and gradually increase it. Use that extra time to reconnect with yourself, your loved ones, and the world around you. By adopting the habit of limiting screen time, you'll not only reclaim precious hours in your day but also enhance your mental health, improve your sleep, and rediscover the joys of life beyond the digital realm. Let go of the constant need for digital stimulation and embrace the simplicity and richness of life. Your mind, body, and soul will thank you. Habit 2. Practicing gratitude. One habit that truly transformed my life was practicing gratitude. Now, I know it might sound a bit cliché, but stick with me here. I used to be someone who focused far too much on what I didn't have rather than appreciating what I did. This constant sense of lack left me feeling perpetually unsatisfied and restless. However, when I made the conscious decision to actively practice gratitude for just 1 week, the shift in my mindset was nothing short of astonishing. I started by keeping a gratitude journal. Every morning, I would jot down 3 things I was thankful for. Initially, it felt somewhat forced, and I found it challenging to think of different things each day. But as the days went by, I began to notice more and more reasons to be grateful: the aroma of fresh coffee, the warmth of the sun on my face, a kind word from a colleague. These small yet significant moments began to fill both my journal and my heart. One morning, I vividly recall writing about the unwavering support of my friends and family. Reflecting on the love and encouragement they provided, I felt a deep sense of connection and appreciation. This simple practice of acknowledging the good in my life had a profound ripple effect. I started to see positive changes in my relationships. By expressing gratitude, I became more aware of the efforts others put into making my life better, and I began to reciprocate more openly. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them." This quote resonated deeply with me as I realized that practicing gratitude is not just about writing it down but also expressing it. I made it a point to thank people more often, whether it was the barista making my coffee, my coworker for their help, or my family members for their unwavering support. One memorable moment was when I thanked a friend for always being there for me. The look of surprise and happiness on their face was priceless, and it significantly strengthened our bond. Another significant change was how gratitude altered my overall outlook on life. I became more optimistic and less prone to negativity. Even on the most challenging days, I could find something to be grateful for, which helped me maintain a balanced perspective. For instance, one evening, after a particularly tough day at work, I took a moment to reflect on the lessons I learned and the resilience I developed through the experience. This shift from a victim mindset to a growth mindset was incredibly empowering. Practicing gratitude also had a profound impact on my mental health. It reduced my stress levels and made me more resilient in the face of difficulties. Focusing on the positives, no matter how small, created a buffer against the daily stresses of life. I found myself more at peace, more content, and more in tune with the present moment. Think about this: how often do we overlook the simple joys in our lives because we are too busy chasing what we think will make us happy? As Seneca wisely said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This wisdom became clear to me as I continued my gratitude practice. If you want to try practicing gratitude, start with a simple daily routine. Each morning or evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be grand or significant. Sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference. Over time, you'll notice a shift in your mindset and an increase in your overall happiness. Can you imagine how different your life could be if you started focusing on what you have rather than what you lack? What are 3 things you're grateful for today? Take a moment to reflect and feel that gratitude wash over you. This habit might just change your life. Habit 3. Prioritizing sleep. Sleep is often the first thing we sacrifice when life gets busy. I used to believe that cutting back on sleep was a badge of honor, a sign of productivity and dedication. Little did I know that this mindset was doing more harm than good. It wasn't until I made sleep a priority that I truly understood its value. One evening, after a particularly grueling week of late nights and early mornings, I hit a wall. My energy was depleted, my mood was terrible, and my productivity had plummeted. It was then that I realized something had to change. I decided to prioritize sleep for just 1 week to see if it would make a difference. To my surprise, the results were immediate and remarkable. I started by creating a consistent sleep routine. This meant going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Initially, it was challenging, especially since I had grown accustomed to late nights. But I stuck with it, and within a few days, my body began to adjust. I found myself naturally waking up without the need for an alarm, feeling refreshed and energized. One of the biggest changes I noticed was in my mental clarity. Before prioritizing sleep, I often felt foggy and unfocused throughout the day. But once I started getting enough rest, my mind became sharper, and I was able to think more clearly and make decisions with greater ease. The boost in productivity was also significant. Tasks that once felt overwhelming became much more manageable. I was able to accomplish more in less time, simply because my brain was functioning at a higher level. Another unexpected benefit of prioritizing sleep was the positive impact it had on my mood. I used to get irritable and impatient when I was sleep deprived, which often led to unnecessary stress and conflict. However, with enough rest, I found myself feeling more patient, calm, and even joyful. This, in turn, improved my relationships with others and created a more positive atmosphere in both my personal and professional life. Sleep also had a profound effect on my physical health. I used to struggle with low energy levels, frequent colds, and a general sense of fatigue. But after just 1 week of prioritizing sleep, I noticed a significant improvement in my overall well-being. I had more energy to exercise, my immune system felt stronger, and I simply felt better in my body. There was one particular moment that really drove home the importance of sleep for me. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I was spending time with my family. Normally, I would have felt tired and grumpy after a long week, but that day, I felt fully present, engaged, and happy. I realized that by prioritizing sleep, I was not only improving my own life but also showing up as a better version of myself for the people I care about. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, the best way to live is to be present in every moment. When we're well rested, we're more capable of being fully present in our lives, which is where true happiness lies. If you're struggling with sleep, I encourage you to make it a priority. Start by setting a consistent bedtime, creating a relaxing pre-sleep routine, and avoiding screens before bed. You'll be amazed at the difference it can make in your energy, mood, and overall well-being. After all, sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity for living a healthy, happy life. Can you imagine how much better your days would be if you were well-rested and energized every morning? Try it for just 1 week, and I guarantee you'll see the benefits. Sleep is the foundation of a well-lived life. Don't underestimate its power to transform yours. Habit 4, Mindful Eating. Life mindful eating, inspired by the Stoic philosophy of living with intention and awareness, this habit reshaped not only how I eat but also how I connect with my body and emotions. Before diving into the transformative power of mindful eating, let's reflect on a timeless piece of wisdom from Epictetus. We should always be asking ourselves, is this something that is or is not in my control? This quote resonates deeply with the essence of mindful eating, where we take control of our eating habits by being fully present and conscious of our food choices and eating behaviors. Like many of us, I used to eat on the go, often distracted by my phone or laptop, barely registering what or how much I was consuming. Meals were rushed, mindless affairs that left me feeling unsatisfied and often overstuffed. This all changed when I committed to a week of mindful eating, a practice that involves paying full attention to the experience of eating and drinking, both inside and outside the body. It's about savoring each bite, noticing the flavors, textures, and even the sounds of your food, and tuning into your body's hunger and fullness cues. To guard against distractions, I created a peaceful environment for my meals. I cleared my dining table, set a nice place for myself, and removed all distractions: no phone, no TV, no laptop. At first, it felt strange to sit quietly with my meal, but it quickly became a calming and enjoyable ritual. I began each meal with a few deep breaths to center myself and bring my focus to the present moment. One of the first things I noticed was how much more I enjoyed my food. Foods I had eaten countless times before suddenly had new, delightful flavors and textures that I had never really noticed. For example, the crunch of fresh vegetables and the sweetness of ripe fruit became much more pronounced, as if I was experiencing food in high definition. Eating slowly and mindfully also allowed me to recognize my body's signals of fullness, which led to a major shift in my eating habits. By giving my body time to signal when it was full, I naturally ate less and felt more satisfied. This was a stark contrast to my previous habit of eating quickly and often overeating. One memorable experience was with a simple bowl of oatmeal. Normally, I would wolf it down without a second thought, but this time, I took it slow, savoring the creamy texture and the subtle sweetness of the honey I drizzled on top. It became a moment of gratitude and mindfulness that set a positive tone for the rest of my day. I also started to notice how different foods made me feel. Heavy, processed foods left me feeling sluggish and bloated, while fresh, whole foods made me feel energized and light. This newfound awareness led me to make healthier choices naturally, without feeling deprived or restricted. Another important aspect of mindful eating is being aware of the emotional connections we have with food. I started to recognize when I was eating out of boredom, stress, or emotional comfort rather than true hunger. This awareness was powerful. Instead of mindlessly snacking, I could address the underlying emotion. Maybe I needed a break, some relaxation, or a chat with a friend rather than a bag of chips. There was one particular evening when I had a craving for something sweet after dinner. Instead of automatically reaching for dessert, I paused and asked myself if I was truly hungry or just seeking a reward after a long day. I realized I wasn't actually hungry and opted for a warm cup of herbal tea instead. It was a small victory that highlighted how powerful mindful eating can be. Incorporating mindful eating into my life was a transformative experience. It helped me develop a healthier relationship with food, improve my digestion, and even enhanced my overall sense of well-being. It's a habit that I've continued beyond that initial week, and I can't recommend it enough. If you're interested in trying mindful eating, start with just one meal a day. Sit down without distractions, take a few deep breaths, and savor each bite. Pay attention to the flavors, textures, and how the food makes you feel. You might be surprised at how this simple practice can change your entire eating experience. It's a wonderful way to reconnect with your body and truly appreciate the nourishment that food provides. Habit 5. Waking up early. I was never a morning person. My bed was my sanctuary, and the snooze button was my best friend. Mornings were always a chaotic rush, and I often felt like I was starting my day on the wrong foot. But then I decided to give waking up early a shot, and let me tell you, it was a complete game changer. I started by setting my alarm for 5 a.m. The first few days were brutal. I remember dragging myself out of bed, feeling groggy, and questioning whether this was worth it. But I pushed through, and by the third day, something incredible began to happen. I started to appreciate the quiet and stillness of the early morning hours. There was something almost magical about being up before the rest of the world when everything was calm and peaceful. With these extra hours in the morning, I found time for things I never seemed to have time for before. I began my day with a bit of light exercise, nothing too intense, just some stretching or a short jog around the neighborhood. This not only woke me up but also energized me for the rest of the day. I also spent some time meditating and setting my intentions for the day. These few moments of mindfulness made a huge difference in my overall mindset and productivity. Another surprising benefit of waking up early was that I no longer felt rushed. I had ample time to enjoy a healthy breakfast, sip my coffee slowly, and plan out my day. This unrushed start set a positive tone for the entire day. I was more organized, less stressed, and felt a greater sense of control over my time. One personal experience that stands out is the morning I watched the sunrise from my balcony. It was a simple yet profoundly beautiful moment. As the sky changed colors and the world slowly woke up, I felt a deep sense of gratitude and peace. It was in that moment that I truly understood the power of waking up early. Now, waking up early might not be for everyone, but I encourage you to give it a try, even if it's just for a week. Start with just 15 minutes earlier than your usual wake-up time and gradually increase it. You might be surprised at how much of a positive impact it can have on your life. It's not just about having more hours in the day but about using those hours to create a more mindful, intentional, and fulfilling start to your day. Think about the way you currently start your day. Is it rushed and chaotic, leaving you feeling stressed and unprepared? Or do you have a routine that sets a positive tone for the day ahead? By waking up early, you give yourself the gift of time to focus on your well-being, set your intentions, and start your day with a sense of calm and purpose. Imagine how different your days could be if you started them feeling energized, organized, and in control. So why not give it a try? Set your alarm a little earlier, even if it's just by 15 minutes. Use that time to do something positive for yourself, whether it's exercising, meditating, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of coffee. You may find that those extra minutes in the morning become the most valuable part of your day. And remember, it's not about being perfect or waking up at the crack of dawn. It's about finding what works for you and creating a routine that enhances your life. As you experiment with waking up early, pay attention to how it makes you feel. Do you notice a difference in your energy levels, your mood, or your productivity? Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a community of support and encouragement as we explore the benefits of waking up early together.